All right. Welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me again. Tonight, I have 4 rolls that I purchased off of eBay. They're interesting rolls in the respect that they are all 4 of them in just a craft paper, no printing on them whatsoever. There is absolutely nothing to determine that these rolls are a bank wrapped roll or even wrapped in anything other than just craft paper. For all you know, this paper could be right off of a, I guess, grocery bag, if you want to call it such. I doubt it, but it is possible. I have seen it done. So the interesting thing about craft paper, some craft paper or some wrapping paper rolls do tend to actually tone the coins a little bit more than some of the other paper. All has to do with some of the chemicals that are involved in the paper. You've got some acids that are used. There's all sorts of different things that are used in paper from that standpoint that will react with copper coins. And as you can tell, I will try and tighten up here so that you can get a chance to see what I'm talking about. As you can tell, they are indeed toned coins on the ends of this roll, which is one reason why I purchased this little batch of coins, because the gentleman that was selling them has been selling quite a few of them. And as you can tell by the ends of some of these, there are a few relatively nicer toned coins. And while he's not selling them as original bank wrapped rolls, which is at least a mark on his side for doing it the right way, he is definitely touting that they are all BU coins between the years of 1909 and 1958. So here's my problem with this type of a listing. Let me zoom back out here a little bit so that you can see a little better. My problem with this kind of a listing is simple. Number one, I will find it very, very hard pressed to find any coin in any of these rolls that will be uncirculated back in the 19-teens, 1920s, and probably even the 1930s, which means these are all either going to be 40s or 50s from that respect. And the other interesting part about it is that these are definitely a re-wrapped roll. They're not a bank wrapped roll. They're wrapped by somebody else. And what likely has probably happened is someone has bought an extremely large number of what we would call common date rolls, or junk rolls. Some people will list rolls on eBay that are problem rolls with fingerprints or whatever on them. And then they will just literally take them and wrap them into wrappers like this. And they paid, who knows, $7, $10, $15 a roll, maybe at the best, at the most kind of thing from that standpoint. And you never know, these people could wind up making $30, $40, $50 a roll on these. So the only person probably winning here is the seller, but you never know. There is a possibility for some overmint marks. There's a possibility for some double dyes. So it is kind of a crapshoot from that respect. The interesting thing, though, again, like I said, from the seller's standpoint, he is not saying anything that is not 100% true in his listings. I'm not going to mention the seller's name, but he does do a nice job from that standpoint. Now, whether or not we find any more toned coins inside the roll, or whether, you don't, right now, toned coins seem to be kind of a hot thing. So let's go ahead and open a couple of these rolls and let's see what we can wind up getting here from that standpoint, and see if there's anything good in here. Let's see. All right, well, no steel sense right off the bat. You can obviously tell from that respect, but you never know. Maybe I can run into a 1943 copper from that standpoint. That's a possibility. So let's see what we've got in here for a mix of dates. We got one really nice toned roll end coin. It was a 52D. And here's what we've got. Let's go through them real quick and see what we wind up with. 54D, 53D, 53D, 55D. Here's a giant fingerprint on a 54D. 47D, so we'll put that in the 40s pile. 54D, another 54D. We'll go through all 50 of these. Here is a 45D. That's getting a little bit younger. 54S. Really heavily fingerprinted 47D. Here is a 54D. 54S. 47S, 47S, which coincidentally, that's what leads me to believe that this guy is putting coins that are all from, you know, junk rolls or just average everyday rolls from that standpoint. Now, while a 47S roll of coins is a more expensive roll, it's also a roll that does not command a very high price. The gray sheet on it is $125 or so, something along those lines, but I don't think I've ever seen a 47S roll that's just kind of an average roll go for less than that. But the point I'm trying to make here is, if you look at these two 47S coins, they're exactly identical in terms of their sheen, in terms of their luster, in terms of their color, both front and back. They're exactly the same color. I would be willing to bet if I took a closer examination of them, they're probably both of about the same die too, which basically leads me to believe that these two coins came from a roll that was the same roll at some point in time. So let's keep going, see what we find in here. I haven't run into any other toned coins. These are all pretty much standard coins. 54S, 54D, 47S, yet another exact duplicate of one of those other 47S's. 54D. Let's see what we wind up with here. There's got to be something, let's hope. 54D, 47D, 54D, 54S, 47D, again, exactly the same color. Interesting. 54D, oh, here's a toned coin, a little bit toned. 53S. So that's a little different from that standpoint. Let's keep right on going, see what we get. 54S. Here's that toned end coin. 52D. 54D. This is a 42D with a spot on it and a very weak strike, but it's a 42 nonetheless. So that's as early as we get. 54D. 54. Keep right on going. So that'll be interesting. 55D, 51D, 54D, 54S, 54S, 47S that matches the color of the other couple, two or three 47S's, 54S, 44S. And we're almost done. Then we'll be done with this. Here's a 53P. This 53P is extremely pink. You can probably pick that out. I'm hoping you can pick that out if you get an opportunity to look at it. But 53P and 54P and 55P, even 52Ps, are known for being extremely pink in color. And so this is extremely pink in color from that standpoint. 54S, 54S, 49D, 54S slightly toned, 54S, 54D, 54D, 54S, and the last coin, 55D. All right, so here's what I got. The earliest date I got was in 1942. I have basically 2, maybe 3 coins in here that are toned from that respect. The rest of this roll is about as common date pretty average, boring as it gets kind of a roll. And I would not have paid, I paid for the 4 rolls, I paid a little over $100. So it's $25 a roll basically is what I paid. So the interesting part about that $25 per roll is what I have here is nothing that's worth any consequence unless I happen to run across a couple of over mint marks that might be kind of nice, but even that respect, there's not a single coin in this roll that would grade higher than 65. Not even remotely close. Matter of fact, most of them would probably grade 64. So I would be hard pressed to say that this is a fantastic roll. Is it fun to go through? Yes, it's a great thing to go through, but I wouldn't say that it's a world's best roll. I'll open the other 3 rolls off camera, and I'll come back and let somebody know if there's anything that I do run across of value. But there's another bogus roll, so to speak, if you want to call it such, that has been kind of brought to light so you guys can make your educated decisions about what you want to buy. I'm not saying that it's a bad purchase. I'm just simply saying that it's not a purchase that anybody who's looking for high quality coins would probably want to purchase. So there you go. Thanks for watching and definitely appreciate it.